All right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Okay. So, the reason why I asked for the other VODs is
Mhm.
because based off what I when I poked around in the last scrim that you played, um, you kind of like piss smurfed, and the games were kind of one-sided for the
Yeah, a
most
little
part.
bit. You know,
So, well, yeah, what's up?
what was really interesting is you had that Cushing with scrambles, and with him being a dominant force uh, in communication, that's really how I think those games popped off. Besides them being, silver scrubs, but who's not a silver scrub, right?
Yeah, I don't think you should ever downplay yourselves, by the way, or like your ranks, because I think competitive merit and improvement has nothing to do with like the rank you're currently at.
For sure.
So yeah, I don't think I wouldn't discount anything you guys did based off your opponent's rank. Oh well, I'm glad to hear that. Um and why I wanted to look at the other game was I'm sure if we sat down and went through the games that you won, we can get stuff out of it. But
We're gonna get a lot more out of the
similar,
games we
yeah,
lost.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. There's just more content, and it's also more easy to see, and apply immediately. So it's been a while since I've watched these games. Um, so let me find game one because I remember these games didn't go super great for you at
No.
times. No, there was some struggling.
I
So
I was watching it, and like one big struggle that I have is like mispositioning while I'm supposed to be just farming a lane and stuff, and I just getting caught. Like that's a big issue of mine that I notice in these games.
mm, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. So I'd like to actually hear more of your thoughts about it. So you said you watched some of your games. What was sort of what were you getting out of when you watched them? Like what sort of things were you looking for, or what sort of observations did you have? Like just talk to me a bit about like your experience when you went over your gameplay.
Yeah, I just had them on in the background at work today, so it's not like I
Yeah.
went in depth into them. But
Sure. Sure. Sure.
there's a couple things that really rang true, and I think helped. We've sort of corrected some of this already, but like Matsuros and I not being on the same page on things, and being uh, I play, excuse my language, but I play like a freaking pussy. So like I
There's
don't
nothing wrong with that.
like if I have a inkling that we're gonna lose this thing, I'm like, nope, stay away. We're not doing it. Run away. So on the other side of that, the coin flip is we have three aggressive people on the team in hider, in scrambles, and in dive. So uh, just watching that and how that plays out, and how like I don't know how to position whenever they're aggressive like that. Um,
Sure.
so those are things that I look for. Is just like team fight, like where I was in the start of team fights, and because that's really what screws me over, and
Yeah.
the differences in like calls that I would make versus some of the more aggressive calls that they made in these games.
Okay.
If you watch the other games, you'll see we played a lot less aggressive in the scrims. So
Yeah. 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 We're more reserved. Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah. So it was a nice change.
All right. The first thing that I'm going to give you as a challenge is getting more comfortable. And this is a struggle that ADCs have all the way to the top. But we're doing these scrims to try to improve and get and build habits. And something that I look at this game is I think this summoner spell is useless against that team, personally. Or useless is an overstatement. I think it is not as effective as some other summoner spells.
Yeah, cleanse would have been really good here.
Cleanse is a great one. And what else would be really good?
Um,
Specifically because of this character.
exhaust?
Well, yes. Have you played Samira before?
Yeah, I'm not very good at her.
Doesn't matter.
Fair enough.
How have you been exhausted when you've played Samira?
I'm sure I have, but
Okay, it feels terrible. Because here's the thing: when you guys are auto trading, who's probably going to win if you're just auto trading from a distance?
me.
Yeah, you. Your range is like 5 times hers.
Yep.
Um, and the only way that she can damage you at a high level is dashing into your face, which is something Caitlyn doesn't like. Um, Taking exhaust into lanes like Samira, also Tristana, which is a really big one, and then even like Kaisa, you're going to notice that these three champions have to really hard commit to kill you. And that's why they actually are struggling right now. Like, especially Kaisa and Samira are really weak because they have to commit extremely hard to killing the enemy carry. And a lot of the carries right now that are best, like think Jinx, think Caitlyn, are very long range and can keep at a distance. So this game, if I was you and I was playing Caitlyn, I would have taken cleanse because the or exhaust. I probably would have taken exhaust, but cleanse is also good because the only way you die is getting thresh hooked in this lane. That's the only way. The only way I see it.
Yeah.
Exhaust is really good for these champs, and then cleanse is really good for these champs. So I think heal doesn't give you the value you're looking for, especially because you know Thresh is going to take ignite because there's no good exhaust targets except for Graves, and he wants to take a summoner spell he's going to use, right?
Yeah.
So whenever you load into a game and these scrims, for example, I want you to consider like, is heal always going to be the best option? And I think a lot of the times you're going to find no. And it's good to start getting used to that and trying it out because I think that's a very underutilized uh, part of the game that's going to help you a lot. That'll be really good. So let's get the lane phase. Okay, so before this cheese happens, how do you think that you want to play this lane phase as Caitlyn Blitz versus Samira Thresh? What do you think?
Um, I mean, we have as long as we have hook available, we should be playing fairly aggressive because we have uh, a lot of range over the Samira, and then um, the one thing we only have to look out for is the thresh hook.
Yeah. I also like how you said when we have hook available, because what does that imply if Matsura's hook isn't up?
We don't have anything, so we might as well play behind our casters. I mean,
Here's where I'm
besides
going
my
to challenge.
range.
Yeah, thank you. Because here's where I'm going to challenge that. I think in your own words, you described your own play style, and that's fine. But in this lane, you are the bully. Okay, they are not allowed to breathe, and as long as Matsura's Q is up, they can't walk up. The only thing you have to worry about is Thresh flaying you, which you can space. So this game, every single time Samira walks up, which she will make this mistake a lot, whenever she's in auto range, boom, hit. She runs away, maybe minions aggro, whatever you. She walks up again, boom, hit. Every time she clicks a minion, that's your job. So we get this very nice hook. That was a good Q. I like that. Okay. And then we're done. This was very well done. I don't think you could have played that trade better. You missed some minions. Who cares? She's going to miss more.
Yeah.
So right here already, no, we're too far. No shot. Okay. Why do we back up? We don't. Thresh is super zoned. And Samira, if she's ever in range of you, you should be positioning to auto her at all times. But right here, we're playing here for no reason. So already this positioning, what I would have liked is for you to position like right in your creeps. And if she ever walks up, you auto her and then just back up. So you don't take too much minion aggro.
Yeah. For sure.
And that's off rip because we just talked. You just told me your greatest asset is your range, and she's full HP. Right here, boom, she dies here because I want you to think about it like this. Okay, it feels bad to miss minions, but it feels worse to have to recall, especially if your wave is in the right spot. So every single time that she goes for a creep, you should be your eyes should never be on your character. Essentially, your job is for you to be looking at this, and you need to make sure the wave is set up, or at least trying to, where you are not killing minions at the same time as her. Why? Why do you think I'm emphasizing that your minions need to die at a different time than hers?
So you can stay in trade stance, and if that means I can auto a minion, and then I can look at her while my minion's dying,
Yes.
and auto
Yes.
trade or
You
whatever
got
it's
it.
called.
That's perfect. So like if we rewind here, okay, I like that you don't auto shove the wave, but like right here, I would walk up. And if you miss the minion, you miss the minion. It's okay. Because they're gonna miss so much when they're under tower, and then you're gonna go to work. Especially because I don't remember the jungle champ, but I know it paths topside. So you're probably not worried about getting ganked um, until 4 minutes. And how do I know that? Well, if a jungler paths topside, we talked about this in our team, but usually they gank here around,
Three.
let's say, 2:45 to 3, right? Somewhere between. And then what either happens is, honestly, for fucking junglers, usually they just die or they win. There's like almost no, it feels like there's no in between. So then you know they're going to either walk here or they usually do their krugs and then come here, which will take them about a minute. So usually, if you know that for sure, we can play super aggro at 4 minutes. And we like that a lot because where is Caitlyn's favorite place to play in a laning phase? Where does she love to be?
Under the enemy's tower.
Correct. So if we're under their tower at 3 minutes, the wave is going to start pushing back. And when the jungler could potentially look for something, that's when we're happy and safe.
Yeah.
Also, if we're pushing them in, Blitzcrank can run. So it gives us lots of options. So let's keep watching. So right here, you and Blitz are hiding for no reason. What I'd like to see, and you can tell them this too, right? You can be like, Blitz, make sure you zone. Like, if you walk here and here, what are they going to do? Because if Caitlyn, let's say, I probably would prefer Blitz here because he can play out of vision. Um, but it doesn't matter. You could be here too, whatever. Let's just say you're up here and Blitz is in the bush. Okay. Let's say you start autoing this character. She auto attacks you. All of a sudden, Blitz hooks her if she's stuck in her auto animation. Okay.
Yep.
If she walks up, she gets traded. Let's say that Maris tries to make space for you, or sorry, makes space for his ADC and starts walking at you to flay you. Blitzcrank can just walk up and you kill him because he's no flash. They're in check. If I'm going to use chess terms, they're
Yeah.
in check right now. They're on the back foot. They have to respond always. So when you make that level one cheese play, I want to see it. I want to see it more. I want to see more of it done. I'm going to give you a really good example. Actually, let me find any game where I'm playing Talia support. Literally any game. Okay, Vayne into Draven is not very fun. Okay. That's
Ugh.
usually just how it is. It's just not fun. This is actually the only one I won't use. Let me find literally any others.
I don't like Draven. Period. I ban that champ every game. it's
Yeah, I
it's
get it.
it's my
All
kryptonite.
right. So this is in ranked. Okay, this is ranked. So this is like Masters Elo. Because if you watch this clip, you wouldn't get it. You wouldn't guess that it's Masters because what happens. Okay. So we're just gonna do this concept right here. What are Xerath Ziggs really good at?
Poke.
Poke. What are they reliant on to poke though?
Mana.
Mana and what else? What's bigger than mana right now? Because they have full mana. What's the number one thing they have to rely on to poke? Not mana.
Oh, I don't know. You to be there? Fuck.
Aha. Cooldowns.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Same thing with hook lanes.
Yep.
When Blitz hook is up, it's really scary. If he misses, there's 20 seconds where he's nothing.
Yep.
Okay.
It's a
So
minion.
if you watch what happens here, he uses Q and Ziggs uses Q. Okay. So then I walk up. Even though it's 1v2, why is this okay?
Because all they can do is auto you.
Yeah. So then I don't do a lot, but I zone them, right? And so then Jin recognizes this and he follows. And then that's a good trade. Xerath uses Q again. This guy's caught out. What do?
Walk up again.
Walk up. Yep. So then I back up because again I'm playing cooldowns. Ziggs uses Q. I make a mental note. Xerath uses Q. So my ADC is getting kind of bullied, which sucks. So then what do? I walk up and I use Q. Okay. Then he uses Q on me. That's fine. Then I walk up because I know I'm going to hit level 2. And
Damn.
then we get a kill. Right? So obviously that doesn't translate one-to-one into this lane, but the emphasis I'm trying to put on is if if I watched you and Matsuro play, obviously you guys would not play this 2v2, but I would imagine you guys sit at your wave. And that is not a bad like thing. It's just a lack of knowledge that you can do this.
Yeah.
Um so it's really really critical like when I worked with like the Rod and Plat ACs, I teamed with one of them because I played in a league where you had to have players of different ranks. So there was a platform ADC that played for Rodham before, and he and I played on the same team for like a year. And it was something we worked on a lot. And I want you to start thinking of, and you may, whoops, this is a VOD from my last coach. I want you to start thinking of resources as not just mana and health, but also cooldowns. Because if you think of it like that, it's like, okay, we each have two cooldowns. We have our Qs, and then Thresh has his E and his Q. So, like you said, whenever Blitz Q is down, they have a larger advantage to make a play than if their E was down, then you can walk up. So
Yeah.
start thinking of not just mana and health, but also resources, because if you pressure the enemy when it's important, like these guys are weak level 1, you can zone them off entirely from things. And it doesn't matter if you take bad trades because you have more, I'm going to use a buzzword here, but like more presence in lane, not for a lack of better term. So, um, anyway, that's what I would like to see here, but let's keep watching because I think we get it. So level 2. Oh, also, it would have been nice because if you were here, you would have hit level 2 in an area where you could have capitalized on it,
Hmm.
which is both of you. Well, you and Matsura both didn't really do that correctly there. So then right here, I just talked about this with a top laner. Okay. Can you take a plate in the next 3 minutes of the game? Yes or no?
No.
And why do you say that? What are some reasons?
Uh, because Nunu should be bathing our side. We should be under our tower.
Yeah, eventually Nuna's going to be there. You also do piss damage to it.
Yeah.
Okay. So my thing is,
Why hit the turret
I
when you can hit the minions?
yeah, either hit the minions or hit the champs because your auto range is the size of Narnia. So like right here, you're playing here. This is a flashless Thresh that was still level 1 until this minion. Oh wait, he missed even more XP than I thought. Yeah, you zone him off a huge wave. So they just got the farmers for free, and you just like kind of like jerked off here. And that's not using Caitlyn. Because like now, I'm curious. I know you can't hear this. Okay. Do you remember how I talked about like it's important to have like plans for your lane?
Yes.
Okay. So this shows me that we, even if we had a plan, we're not thinking of it. Because Matsura and you are like doing a dance together right here. And if our plan was being used, it would be to hit them. Now, I'm going to counterpoint this. The reason why I checked what your comms were is maybe there was a call that Nunu would be ganking you soon and you want to let it push out into you. I don't know if that's the right call or not, but I would have understood because then you have a plan here. But instead, we waste a lot of HP. This person should be here because at the end of the day, let's say something really bad happens. We trade while we're doing this. She takes some damage, and you take a tower shot, and you have to recall. Who cares? Because she's stuck under tower, and you'll come back.
Yeah.
It is going to be okay. So if we don't want to even do this, uh, if we don't judge, because someone just said, "Where's Nunu?" Instead, how about we go ward for it? And probably not try brush. I would probably try to ward
Yeah, I think
deeper.
Matsuro goes in wards here, and we finally see him top
Yeah,
in a second. Maybe it's not right here.
because I would say my biggest problem with this lane phase I see so far is if I am Thresh or Samira, I am not scared, and I should be scared.
Yeah,
Um, but this Samira is still full HP, and you blew like Thresh Flash, and I
that
want
should
more
be
to happen.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah, so then we push out, which is, I mean, which is fine. Matsuro gets a little feisty. I like that look. Okay, well done. Walk up here. You're walking back. there's no thresh hook. The most he can do is flay you, and if he does, he loses the fight because he's in melee range with no flash, and Matsuru just walks back over and eats him. So when you're doing this here, walk forward, walk forward, walk forward, walk forward, walk forward, walk forward, all throughout this sequence, so you can hit her as she's running away. Because then you take your pot shot Q, but she could have probably taken two more autos from here and here as you kite up and hit her
Yeah.
as she walked away. So make sure, especially when you're in these aggressive lanes with range advantages, like Jinx, Ezreal, take your fucking pick, Varus. Just make sure you're absolutely punching them because blinding Samira is like death. Because the enemy team can pick champs like the ones you two have and punish them really hard. Something I also would have liked is if Matsuro honestly just walked in front of minions, which you can talk about discussion. I would have loved if both of you played here actually, because even if he's hooked, you guys win the fight. I don't see the line because remember she has to commit. She has to go in. So Blitzcrank just knocks her up and you Q her and she dies. So just a lack of pressure, I think. And now we need to be warding or you recall because we're at that danger zone now.
Hmm.
Nooney's still top though, so it actually doesn't matter at all. What the hell? Cool. Okay, this was good pressure. We're using our traps under the tower. And this is sort of the same stuff as before, right? Same kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Exactly. Yeah. It's rinse and repeat for a little bit there.
Yep. Uh I would probably play for this plate. Just focus on hard shoving it. Like, don't be afraid to use your Q to push like you are here, because you have a job here, which is now that Graves and Nunu did their thing, you should know that Nunu will be looking for you, and you don't want to burn your flash for free. So as soon as this happens, good trade. We should be done here. We hit this plate. Matsuro hasn't warded yet. He should
Yeah.
be warding deep because he has time, and then you can put the tri brush ward because he doesn't have minions to
I
farm. He
think we
doesn't care.
back off here completely.
Oh, I mean that's fine.
Yeah.
I think you can stay. I don't like this because you don't have Noon Quiver Gold, and Noon Quiver is better on Caitlyn than Tier 2 boots.
Yeah. Well, we get there. You'll get here in about 5 seconds.
See, no plan. As soon as this game
Uh,
starts, you should consider, and something you should think about in every lane is what should my first base look like
I get
every
Noon
single
Quiver
time.
here.
Oh, you sell your Dorns, or do you
No,
sell all your
I
stuff?
sell everything else, and
Okay,
I wait 20 gold or something.
yeah. So let's go back. Let's make it really easy. Let's go back to the Ziggs example. What is Ziggs' ideal first recall? What is his dream recall?
Oh, I don't know. It used to be Morella Nomicon or something, or not Morella's. The piece that went into it, the lost chapter or something,
Yes,
last chapter.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Because it gives him mana, and he can just wave clear forever, and it's 1,300 gold. Okay, same with ADC. 9 times out of 10, it's usually 1,300 unless you're like Jin, like because sometimes you start boots 4. So you should always think like, hey, what is my dream for the gold, and how do I like perfectly land on it?
Yeah.
Um,
Have you seen I'm sorry to
yeah.
interrupt, but
No,
have
no,
you
you're good.
seen a lot of uh pro players not going straight for Noon Quiver and instead buying uh just the components of it and then buying pickaxe?
I have not. What pro play has been going on recently?
I don't know. Blitz, like I looked through the Blitz shit,
Oh,
you
like build
know.
path.
Yeah, and a
I'd
lot of
be
them have done
interested.
that.
Do they recall enough gold for Noon Quiver?
I don't think so. I think they recall before, like
Yeah.
like way before. So they buy
So
a piece of it,
I
and they never actually finish Noon Quiver.
I think so. This is like this is the analysis part. If that's something that's happening, I think what you have to start to consider, and this is just building that skill of like self reflection, because that can help in your own games, is like, okay, let's look at our matchups. Like in those games, like were they playing as Cog Lulu versus like Alistar Draven, or were they playing as like Callista Nautilus versus Twitch Recon, right? Like it's like
Yeah,
different lanes can influence their bases. I won't lie, I don't know. My guess would either be they're not recalling on enough gold, and so they go like pickaxe, and then they have enough components for tier 2 boots, and then they finally finish Noon Quiver. That could be like or they go through Mythic. Or another thing is like maybe they're playing a lane where the early AD matters a lot. Like, for example, Jinx, right? She's going to stack lethal tempo. So maybe getting pickaxe first is actually better for her trades
Yeah, she
because
doesn't need attack
she
speed
doesn't
because
need
she
the
has
attack speed,
minigun.
right? I don't know if any of those answers are right, but that's like where my mind starts to go, where it's like, well, what's the logic behind that? If I can't figure it out and I don't think it's good, then I don't do it.
Yeah.
Or I look it up. So like, for example, in UGG, like today, let's take UGG. I played Warwick for the first time in my life. I've never played Warwick before. So I looked it up and I saw Plat plus Max's E first. And I was like, I don't think that's good. So I put like 3 points into E and then I maxed Q. And I thought that was better. I was talking about it with my guy because I was teaching him how to play, or not teaching him, but he's like bronze, and I play with him in other games. So he was like, "Let's try League." And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "Well, you're supposed to max E." And then I was like, "Well, here's why I think you should only put a couple points into it." It's like maybe that's right, maybe that's wrong, but like I tried it out and I liked it because I wanted to be able to dual vi early, and I
Yeah.
thought if I didn't have points in Q, I couldn't. Is that right? Who fucking knows? But I tried it. So anyway, let's go back. So Blitzcrank roams mid. Whenever your support roams, take as long as possible to clear your wave. I don't want to see you push here.
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
I think I
okay.
actually end up pushing.
Because here's the thing. It's not always a bad thing if we fast push, but like what is our goal for pushing? What do we hope we're going to do? Cuz obviously there's something that ideally could happen. Like what is the dream scenario if we push this lane, what would happen?
I
Alone.
mean, nothing. Like, well,
Yeah.
they freeze it on the other side, and I get screwed until Blitzcrank comes back to lane. Uh,
Yeah. I'd say best case scenario, Thresh isn't there, Samira's alone, and you take pot shots at her for a couple seconds. I think worst case scenario is Thresh and Samira are there, you fuck up and die, and the
that
wave
one,
shoved into them.
that might have
What?
happened too, actually.
Oh, did this happen?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Because Blitz roams, that's cool. But if you just stop and think about it for a second, shoving this doesn't do anything.
No, that's.
Um,
I think I missed half the minions too.
do we did I can't remember which gold team was it. There's like a really easy cheat sheet. I'm gonna give you. Have you seen this before? Have you seen this slideshow?
Uh-uh.
Okay. I'm just gonna take this right here. This. Oh, that's not a box. Okay. This right here. So right now you're fast pushing. This does not cover everything. I just made this slideshow for one of the plat teams like a couple seasons ago. But let's just do a checklist. Okay. The enemy team is across the map. Uh, no, not at all. So no. Okay. Are you going to force a dive or are you going to force them to recall?
No.
No. Are you trying to extend for vision blind?
No.
No, I would not. Is it logical to assume you're going to be able to siege and harass 1v2?
No.
Are you probably going to be able to force a mistake or make a play on your own here?
No.
No. This does not cover everything, but for catch all, you should think if you're fast pushing, you want to pressure your lead, right? Like for example, when we were here, we shoved every wave. Now if we go uh boom, boom, and then eventually at one point this, and then also this, right? Because Nunu was on the other side.
Yep.
So we can see we pushed this, and the reasoning behind it is sound. You wanted to push your lead, okay? But in terms of a slow push, this is safer. So I want to set up a play. What that really means is like, hey, I don't have an immediate play to make. I don't have a play to make here, but I will in 30 seconds. Why? Because, or 40 seconds, because Blitzcrank's coming back. And fast pushing does nothing. We want to play as safe as possible because if you just think about it, the only way you ruin this is by dying because we're forcing something with numbers here. So it's like league is like chess. There you take turns. Okay. We're taking a turn and making a play and it's successful. We don't want to give them a turn they can make in response because sometimes, again, using the chess metaphor, if you put them in check, they just have to respond if there's nothing for them to do.
Yeah.
So instead, this happens and if they're smart, they hold the wave here, and you need someone else to come break this, which they do. Holy shit, silver players are or gold players are so much better than when I was gold, by the way. It's insane.
Wait, why?
Uh now okay, so like when I started, um I hit level 30 at the end of season 4. So my first like full rank season was season 5.
Oh wow, I
And
started before you did.
if you think about like the evolution of the game, right? The player base has had 6 years since I've started playing
Yeah.
to get better. So like when I was your rank, I legit I don't even think I would understand a single thing I was talking about. I probably didn't even know what any of these things were or meant, and, like,
Dude,
none of this crossed my mind.
I have some videos of me playing League back in season 3. I was a mid Akali main, didn't know shit. And
Yeah,
it's hilarious watching myself. I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
I feel that. Um, okay, so do you remember what the 3 factors for all our decisions are? What are they? I mentioned them once, but I get my teams mixed up, so does this
Uh
sound familiar? There's, like, 3
I
different factors for
I don't
everything
know,
you
give
do
me
in
one
League.
of them and I might be able to tell you.
XP is one of them.
XP, gold, and time on map.
Yeah, time.
Yeah.
Okay, you doing this wastes this and this because you're gonna get zoned off the XP. So you lose this, you're gonna lose gold as well because your minions are gonna kill these, and someone else has to help you here.
Yep.
So those are the reasons why everything you can always bring it back to those. So then you kind of just are like lost.
Oh, I know. It's a bad juju.
I'm just curious. So
How
from
many
6:25, I'm just curious of the time.
a
Yeah,
full
for a
minute.
full minute, you just stood here. So maybe let's okay, obviously we can't undo things. You're gonna find yourself in a situation like this again. Okay, it's gonna happen. But instead, let's try to sit here and figure out what you could have done. So, right, wow, that was the wrong keybind. Let's go back. So, because I don't think it's good enough to just say, okay, that was bad or like not ideal. Let's just figure out what we could have done. So,
Yeah.
right here, let's pretend you're in a game and you catch yourself right here and you're like, oh, fuck. I pushed and I shouldn't have. Okay. And we just had a big skirmish mid. What are some options we can do right here?
Um uh,
There's not a
no gold.
lot, but
I mean,
let's spin
I
something.
could theoretically I could back and get uh dagger
I don't like dagger. What should you get
or
instead?
boots.
Uh-huh. Why
Yep.
do you want boots? Why do you want boots over
Thresh
dagger?
hooks and
Yep.
shit to
What's the
dodge.
yeah? What's the only way you die? Thresh hook. What helps you dodge thresh hook? Boots.
Yeah.
Okay, that is
Set.
one thing.
The other thing, technically, I could roam mid, let Lux back because she's out of mana. She's not gonna be able to push that wave anyways.
Okay.
And then go back bot with, uh, or go back bot after I push one wave. Uh, and it should be pushed by then, hopefully. And Blitzcrank would be bot by then.
Yeah.
I can't
I will
farm
say,
our
I
jungle.
did like that you didn't ward. I like that a lot because Thresh came back and you don't have any way to control those wards. So I like that idea. I think honestly, if you see fucked up like this, I see my high elo ADCs do this. They just take the L and recall because you're synced up with Blitzcrank and you get your boots.
Yeah.
I probably would have done that. That's what I've done in this situation. But I like how you took a second because you have a lot of time here. You realized you fucked up. You've got like 10 full seconds. Um, so that's something that could have been done. Okay. So now Graves is top side. And the nice thing is we can probably guess where what is with you? Do you see this when you're playing the
Yeah,
game?
no, not when I'm playing the game. It's only on the fucking
Okay.
recordings. I don't know.
Okay, so let's do an exercise here. Where do we think Nunu is going to be after that mid skirmish?
Bot side.
Why do you think that?
Dragons up.
Is that it?
And well, I technically don't know if his camps. Well, no. I do know his camps are up because Graves is also topside. So
Bingo.
he should have
Okay,
been. He should be bot side.
really. I'm going to challenge that. I think he should be top side. And here's why. There's a little trick you can do to help you track the enemy jungler. If they both started on the same side, right?
Yeah.
That means their camps are going to be spawning
Uh,
roughly the same time. So that
fair.
means I want you to think of it as quadrants of the map. So if Graves just took his bot side quadrant, that means Noon is going to be in his bot side quadrant. And also that means this isn't up. This should not be up. Okay. Now, here's the second thing I want you to do. You are doing nothing here every single time. Just getting this happen. Especially if you don't have anything to do. Every single time the jungler on the enemy team is involved in a skirmish in the first 15 minutes, I want you to get in this habit. I need you to click them. Even if you're not there. Why? This is a
Uh,
hard question. You can say I don't know, and that is totally okay.
um, yeah, I have no clue.
Okay. Um, let me see. Okay, right here, you've clicked on Samira, right?
Yeah,
If this was Nunu, what would be here?
if he had smite or not.
Uh,
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
yeah. Okay. What is here? This is where. Okay. Well, I'll ask you. What shows up here on any character in the game?
I have no fucking clue because I've never
Okay,
looked there.
that's fine. Buffs and runes.
Gotcha.
Okay. So right
Buffs.
here,
Let's
like
go.
if they click you, they see your headshot. If you click Samira, they see heal. So I heard you just light bulb moment buffs. So why do you think it's important to click Noonan?
Well, so we can see his buffs and we can tell.
Yes.
Oh, does he have red buff? Oh, does he have blue buff?
Yes. So if he has red buff in that mid lane fight, do you think he will still go bot side?
No, he would go topside, or he should be
Yes.
topside.
Because all his camps are going to spawn and he needs to clear them on rotation. Also, you said Dragon's coming up, but also Herald's coming up. So here's why I think Nunu is top. And you know what? Sometimes junglers are just weird and don't do what you expect them to do. But if Graves just cleared all this, and he came through here, and Nunu came from here mysteriously, and then went away, and then Graves has to clear these,
He'll be
and we
top.
can see this is spawning, and top lane has Prio because what lane is hard winning for them right now? It's
Top.
Vi. Vi is crushing it right now. So Nunu is going to go top side. Mid is also winning. Like I remember Zoe was kind of working Lux, right? So Nunu, we know he's going to play for this Herald because his goal is to accelerate his already ahead lane that he can win around because he doesn't want to fight around bot lane because Samir is weak and there's nothing to do. But he wants to fight around top side. So if we think about it, when I'm trying to figure it out, like let's say you're here and in your head you're like, fuck, I don't know if I can play like if Nunu's here. Sometimes I always just think like, hey, jungler, where do you think Nunu should be? And they might give you the wrong answer, but at least someone's thinking about it. But for me, I'm just like, okay, I look at my jungler. Oh shit, Graves cleared those a while ago. These are probably also gone, or they should be soon. And then these camps are coming up, and Herald's on the way, and this lane is strong, and this lane is favored for them. Uni's probably going to play up for this. And if I'm going to imagine, I don't remember, but I would guess, oh my God, he was bot. I was wrong. Okay. So here's the thing I can be wrong too.
Oh yeah.
But if you think Nunu is bot, why in God's green earth do we cue the wave?
Because stupid in the moment.
There you go. Good diction choice. I like that diction choice more. So my thing is like, I don't mind if you have a different opinion than me because we just disagreed where Nunu was going to be, and in this case, you were right. I because now what happens is Graves takes all of this. That's what should be happening right now, and Scram's already talked about something like
Mhm.
that. So, um, but then follow your plan because if you think Nunu is going to be bot side, or at least in game we didn't think about it, but now after watching it, you're like, oh, I think Nunu should be bot. Then play like he's bot and hold the wave as long as you can because there's a play happening top side.
Yeah.
So that's what I'd say here.
Did we
I
end
mean,
up holding it?
you do.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's because they fucked up
Oh.
because I think
Well, no, we were
Thresh
holding prior.
absolutely griefs this. No, I
Yes, I
think you
do agree.
guys, yeah, they grief it for sure. Also, that's a good dodge on your end.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, there's no way that you get a kill. I think my thing is like it's good now, but I say this in a lot of coaching. My goal for every Rodham team is for us to have an inter sister team Rodham finals for whatever league you're in. Well, actually, you guys won't be in the same league, but obviously, my goal is to win.
Yeah.
That is not my primary goal. When you play against a team, when you're in finals, like Scram's team made finals, The team in finals won't fuck this up. They won't. They'll hit this because they made it to finals. So my thing is always commit to making the better play and sticking to that, because if our wave is pushing in, if they force this like they did here, it's bad for them. And then we don't have to use our summoner spells because we're safe under tower. So
Hmm.
just keep that in mind. But obviously it works out fine because honestly Matsura plays it really well, and then you dodge the hook. But that is a high risk play that you won that flip. But on another day, you're not going to play it that well,
Yeah.
and you're going to die, and you're going to lose that huge wave. So that's all I'm trying to get for there. So then we push. Okay, not very smart by Matsuro there. We'll be honest. Seems like a freebie. I think there, by the way, you just have to make the call that when this happens, you're like, hey, Matsuro, you need to help me push this out, and then we're gonna recall. Because you know that you don't want to walk into river. This isn't something you want to do. That's not your goal.
Yeah.
Okay? You just got a fat payday. You have a huge stack of cash. Recall, get that fat, sweet paycheck. Look, he's in stacks, right? Call him over, drag him by the leash. Okay, he won't mind. Okay, get the base off, get your fat reset, and play for the winning 2v2 again. All right.
I grieve. So you could just fast forward here, bro. Don't even.
What's what's your plan?
Nothing. I grief the hell out of this, and I get greedy as fuck, and it's warded. So what's his face? Nunu comes back around, and I miss the Q. So I'm like, all right, it's just GG. I might as well use it all at this point.
Yeah, honestly, I don't mind that you commit after you fuck it up. Obviously, the play is terrible, but I like that you like because you're not getting out here. So I
No,
like that
I
you went
know.
for that. But yeah, this is really bad. Obviously, I won't even like comment on. I mean, you just know how terrible it is. So
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that was pretty stupid of me.
yeah, for sure.
Freaking headshot didn't do it for me.
Nope. And the reason why it's bad, not just you dying, but
Uh,
you're gonna miss a huge wave. That's
And
a big wave to miss.
like, yeah, and now like Dragon's just
Yeah,
there
and you're
for
not.
theirs for free, and
Yeah, and all that happens because you're not there. They end
yep,
up. I mean, there's a good capitalization on your teammates' end, obviously, but yeah,
yeah,
it's
they did
all
good.
domino effects. So then you walk back. Oh, also something. Okay, you don't do it here. Never mind. There's a bad habit with players on your team where we're not getting out of base fast enough. Every second counts. I can't. There's hundreds of times, and I know everyone can think of it when you're like, "Fuck! If I was only 2 seconds sooner to that play, we win."
Yeah,
It almost happens every single series. So it drives me crazy when people spend 4 extra seconds in fountain, because
y-
it's such an easy to do thing. You're dead there, so I like that you bought your items fast. But whenever you die, unless you're watching a fight to shot call it, like I expect if people are dead, if they're not immediately involved in helping target select or calling out cooldowns, that they should be buying the items and being ready to jump back on the map. So you did a nice job with that.
yeah. There's times where I get confused on what to buy, but a large part of taking a year hiatus. Like I
Yeah,
just came
yeah, I
back
get that.
like a month ago,
I
so
get that. Okay, this was a good hook. And then I think we went over this in team. Like we went over this as a team. This was the play where we lost gold,
yeah, we should have
I think.
backed right there.
Yes, I agree. We've already talked about this
Yeah,
before. So we'll move on. Okay, right here, again, I would have liked if you had gone mid, not the dragon. We already talked about this as well. You should have gone mid because there's a fat wave. Lux could have shoved out bot. We've gone over this.
hmm
Okay, we kill. This is a fat wave. We missed a lot mid. But we're dealing with what's happening now. So we're gonna pretend like we never talked about this before, and this is where we're at now. Thrush and Smear are dead. On God, I think you just keep Lux here and you guys get first tower. Graves commits to it. You have two people dead. They need to catch mid.
I
I think you committed here. I remember you get it here.
yeah, I do, but I
Um,
flashed for it. Like
yeah. I honestly don't know if it's awful. I honestly think it might be worth it. If only though the fact that they instantly get a bunch of plates back. So I think here, since we're in comms, here, since Shen can catch top, I think one of you catches this, one of you works on the minions coming up, and then the three of you just commit with Graves and get it. Because if Zoe shoves mid, Shen can cover mid and catch that wave.
Yeah.
So I would have liked that. Or just recall entirely, and Shen goes bot because you know Vi's gonna go there because he's gonna match his laner, and then you go top
How much mana did Lux have? Just curious.
like full.
Yeah, at least
Yeah,
she should have stayed for sure.
yeah, I agree. But we don't base our play off of what our teammates do. We base it
Uh-huh.
off of what we can do. So if she doesn't stay, you recall. I don't care how
Yep.
juicy it looks. We don't have first tower anymore, so I just recall. Okay, so right here, you go bot. I like that you do Gromp here. I like that a lot. There's nothing that you need to do. Here, we should only hold the wave. We shouldn't auto because if we push out, there's nothing for us to get. There's also really nothing for us to fight for. And ideally, we're going to eventually transition you mid.
I think I do that here. I push it.
So, yeah, so there's no reason to push this, though.
Yeah.
Ideally, because you don't need to go mid right away, right? Okay, first of all, we needed to ward this. Because the only way you die farming this is if they come from out of fog with Nunu Vi, and it lets you do what we're about to talk about. So
Yeah, and I
right
have
here,
tons of wards on
there's
me.
no play you can make. So walk up and tank these minions so they don't crash into the tower. Anything you can do to delay it, because I'm going to be honest, a lot of you guys talk about like freezing and stuff, and I understand that we know it on a conceptual level, but in game, I don't think I've ever seen it done really, except for that one small time bot that kind of did it. So it does. I don't care if you take a lot of HP damage to hold the wave. Just hold the wave as best you can. If you're nervous about taking damage, you can go in and out of the bush and aggro them. But it would have been nice because you have these 4 minions here, and then you have this big wave here, and you could have held it. So what I would have liked is instead of pushing the wave, because again, if we talk about that slide, we're not really trying to do any of this. So if we hold it, it's twofold. What happens is either maybe there's something that happens where you have to stay here. You can still safely farm because there's nothing you're going to get if you push. So you can still safely farm if you're here if something happens where you can't rotate. And if you do rotate, it's like a courtesy thing where it's like, hey, the wave is here. So if like Lux needs to go catch this while I do this, it's safe for her as well. So because shoving this does nothing because I mean it just accomplishes nothing. It's just better to keep it there. For long-term things. Because Shen can go down there, but you're gonna have to keep in mind, like, if Shen pushes up, he's dead. It doesn't matter that he's Shen. Vi Nunu will not let this guy live. So
Yeah.
it's really scary for anyone to play that sideline anymore. So we walk around, we go mid, good pick, nice Q. Nunu is trolling, I think. So right here, as soon as he walks up, I would have loved if you just recognized that what's gonna happen and then path around because then he probably would have died here. And these creeps, they don't matter as much as him trolling that hard. So be more cognizant of like what our options are instead of necessarily hard committing to um
Minions.
the like 3 minions that are here. Because there's no play you can make until these guys are with you.
Yeah.
You can't siege. It's too scary. It's too risky. It's not gonna happen. So I will say something I do like is a lot of times your what I've noticed is your camera movement is actually pretty good. I want to see what it's like in lane. Yeah, it's actually really good. This is something people struggle with. Um, Here it's not so good. What I mean by that is none of this matters. This is essentially useless information.
Yeah.
You're essentially playing with one eye closed. So in this specific shot, you weren't doing as well. Make sure your camera is always focused so the area of effect is always the widest thing. Like if you watch, let's go back to this replay. Like if you watch it here, like I'm watching for level 2 on this one, but there's no part of my camera that isn't I mean, it's actually not I'm not doing it super great here. It's something I can work on too. But every single time, like there's a moment where I can move my camera, I usually try to keep them in the focus of it. Level 1, I just make sure I lock it for that. but like every time you're doing combat, your character should be far away.
Yeah.
It just lets you see more of the map. Talia, it's like a little bit different. There was an ADC game I wish I had saved, but I delete my clips a lot. Um, but the reason why that matters is there's just more. Oh, here we go. Here's like a real game I was playing. Okay, this was in the Nightless Invitational that Rodham played in. So like every time you're laning, it's something. Well, I don't lane this game. Well, never mind. There's no good excuse, but you understand what I'm saying. It's
I
not
do. I
it's
do.
not a complex concept. So just keep that in mind, especially when you're playing Caitlyn. You need to always be watching what they do because you know what your character does. Um, okay. So right here, it's like the classic chess thing. We took a turn, they took a turn. There's no reason to walk up here. There's not.
I think you
Also,
guys
if you
just
do want
warded,
to
but
walk
yeah.
up, yeah, but here's the thing. This
If I have
ward
to order
doesn't.
it, I already died.
Well, my thing is, what information does that get you? Because it's like you know they were up here,
Yeah,
okay,
nothing.
and you know they're hanging around, and there's nothing you can do with that ward. If you want to really ward, if you're nervous about that bush, ward from over the wall. Otherwise, you know they're going to be here. You're warding it because you know. Like, it's so obvious that you are processing that they're there.
Yeah.
And now you need some, like, it's like you don't have object permanence. And you're like, okay, I have to know they're
Oh, and
not
I
there.
I think I almost die here too. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's no reason to because you know they're going to push the wave into you. And all this happens is because you go to ward. Everything that happens here is because you ward.
That's crazy to think about. Like just.
Yeah. So I would encourage you, like, once we're done here, because we're probably only going to watch one of these. Um, a lot of the time when I'm trying to, you'll see it when I talk to you guys in your team setting, is when you're VOD reviewing, it's going to be really tempting, and I mean really tempting, and I do this too. You're going to go to all the times you killed someone, and you're going to go to all your deaths, and you're going to watch your death, and you're just going to think, oh, how did I play that fight badly? Watch all your kills and you think, fuck yeah, that's awesome. But every single time, especially as a team, you guys die, there's decisions that happened like 90 seconds ago that were they were really the catalyst for it. Because I'm sure the next time you die, if you had heal and Gale Force, you would have lived. I'm gonna bet if you had heal, you lived. Okay, no, you just
No,
fucking
I
dead
don't
as
think
fuck
that.
there.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
I was like,
But if a skirmish broke out, you would want your summons and Gale Force.
oh
You
yeah,
just
for
would.
sure.
And then because of that, was this here? Your heal is down, so it has to be later.
No, I heal up here when Vi
Yeah.
threatens
No, I'm
to
just thinking.
for yeah.
Okay. So then we already fucked up. Just recall. You have 1,300 gold. Luxon cover mid. There's nothing for you to do. Time to just base and call it a day. Because if you would base there, we're gonna be ready for dragon. Because again, there's nothing for you to do. Shen fucking runs it down. It's fine. Life moves on. So we don't take our base timer there, and that's really important.
Yeah,
Right
it's a huge
there,
buy.
yeah, you're massive here. It's essentially like BF sword or whatever the fuck she builds, like proto whatever garbage shoot faster thing. Um, yeah, and so then we would have been back on map. Instead, we like waste our fucking time here. This is such a this is such a no shot play. There's just no way. We already talked about this in team setting as well.
Yep.
So I will say reviewing team stuff. The only downside is you're being influenced by your teammates' calls, and in solo queue, it's nice because it's always your decisions for the most part, which is the one boon of reviewing solo queue games. I mean, comp is still fine. Uh, okay. So turrets down, walk away. Honestly, on God, go top. That's a fat wave for you. Fuck Shen. Who cares if Shen gets that wave? Okay, Shen having 100 CS or 1,000 CS does not change who wins this game. It's going to be your characters. So something you could easily do is like, hey, yo, Shen, go bot or hover or just hover mid or something. Who cares? He can figure it out. Okay, you need to get your paycheck. So you're gonna go top. Is this wave safe to farm here?
No.
What should you do while you wait?
Farm topside jungle.
Yes. Get those Kruggies. That's what
The
I would
things that
like
the
to see.
junglers don't want.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's not gonna fucking do them. He's Graves. Instead, we walk up here, which is illegal. There's no shot. There's just even if you want this wave, just wait. Just wait.
Yeah.
Because again, it's like there's no reason. There's just none. So we end up dying. We waste flash.
Oh, I
This
waste
is
everything here. I
this is a
Gale.
really yeah. This is really
I was like, oh
this is
shit.
really bad. Yeah, and
uh,
that's just again, you played it badly, sure, but that's decision making.
yeah.
You wouldn't have had the option to play it badly if you just made a better decision, which is why it's so important because on game day, there are odds that you are playing like shit that day. Okay? Like it might be finals and you are playing at a 3 out of 10, but if you back up here, you playing at a 3 out of 10 mechanically doesn't matter anymore because you don't die and then you're on the map and doing stuff. So that's always why that always drives every decision I make because I am adamant in saying that I do not think I'm a very mechanically like whatever the fuck that word even means because it's such a buzzword. It can mean like 20 different things. It can mean map movement, it could be button clicks, it could be skill shot accuracy, it could be anything. I don't think I'm my biggest strength is how well I can duel people or like play a carry role or whatever. It's just like I can make mostly the right decisions at the right times and so then that's like where my skill set is. So we go mid, and our goal right now is we just want to fight for our next item. Yeah, we do, Mom. So um our goal is we're just in maintenance mode, and then we can fight at the next dragon because your character, what is Caitlyn really good at? What is she really, really good at? If you think Caitlyn, just start
Siege.
listing things that she sieging. Why is she good at sieging?
She has
What two things?
traps. She
Boom.
has.
You already got it.
Yep.
Traps. That's why we love Dragon. We love Dragon.
Oh yeah, just
So
set up traps like at the entrances and they can't
yeah,
do anything.
if you put some here, the
Yep.
only way Nunu can walk in is here, and then Shen stands right here, and then you blast him with Lux. It's that easy, right? This is their engaged. They're all really short range except for Zoe, and you can play for hooks over wall. So my thing is like, okay, if we know Caitlyn's good with traps, and we know you're kind of weak, you're only on one item at this stage, but you're close to it, there is nothing you should be trying to do except for farming for that item and playing where your character is the strongest. Because in the jungle, you are weaker.
Yep.
If you're walking in blind, you are weaker. Samira will beat you one on one if you are in her range. Walking into this against Nunu Zoe is bad. So, like right here, I have no idea what we're doing. I
Oh,
cannot tell what is going through your Blux's head or your head. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is it's not like it's even bad that you're doing this. I mean, it's obviously not good. But the thing that we have to really be focusing on as players is like we need to have a logic behind it, even if it's wrong. And I make the example a lot um, with this slide, which we'll probably watch later as a team, but it's like decision making, right? Where it's how do you start to figure out like how do you win a matchup, like what we were doing earlier with Samira. So it's like let's say you're playing Ari versus Katarina. I've played that matchup before. Um, and the first time I played it, I lost. Okay. And I didn't realize why. And I played it again and then I lost. And then I realized I was not punishing her because she's a melee character, right? Just like we were talking about Samira. And then this is like a simple one. And then I realized also I was losing because she would roam bot because I was hitting her so much, she would just push the wave and leave and then kill my bot lane.
mm,
And then I realized I was losing because I would, similar to when you're talking about like Blitzcrank hook, I would waste my charm and then she could shunpo on me and kick my ass.
yep.
So you start to slowly build those things and realize. So, like right here, we need to realize that we are not stronger here. We don't need to fight them just because they're on our screen, which is a problem that we're having just in general as a team. Uh, and then also not realizing what's best for us. So, like right there, you check your proto belt. I keep calling it proto belt, but you know what I mean. You
Gale
check your
Force.
fucking no, your thingy. No, you check the shop for it. The thing you're gonna buy, the cannon.
Oh, oh, oh.
You checked it. You knew it's
Rapid
close.
fire.
Yeah, rapid fire. Thank you. But then you don't play like you're close for it because then your goal is like, hey, give me mid farm, give me wolves, give me Gromp. We want this. I want this. Okay, because it's not safe for you guys to push up. So that's what I want to do. Holy shit, we go for Baron here, and it works. Honestly, I don't mind the
Dude, I'm
call.
so
Fuck it.
mad. I fuck up. I hit my I right click like right as soon as like my back's supposed to go, and it ended the back, I was like, oh god.
Okay, and then right here, too far.
Yep.
It's almost deja vu for the same thing.
Yep.
Honestly, a lot of rinse and repeat, recognizing where you're standing. And I think for this game, it's a lot of the same concept, right? Different comps give you different challenges, and a lot of it is like recognizing, like, hey, where is my character strongest? Oh no, that's a really sad looking face. Where's my character strongest, and how do I maximize that? And I think this game, you just weren't thinking about it, or we weren't sure even if we were, we weren't sure how to do it. So it's like piecing it together, right? We're like, okay, I asked you, what is Caitlyn great at? Traps. Okay, why are traps so good? They zone melees, and it's hard to walk through them. Okay, well, let's fight for dragon on power spikes, or let's try to siege. Well, we can't siege because there's no vision, so let's just play safe until an opportunity presents itself, and then we go from there. So I think that's good. The other takeaway, because I mean, I always think that one on one usually the goal is an hour, but it usually goes later. I think there's again diminishing returns. So talking about stuff,
Hmm.
there's only so much you can absorb. The other thing is, I think your lane phase looks entirely differently if this character doesn't get to play. But when you watch it now after we talked about it, it looks like you're just giving up, even though you're not. But it's
Yeah, I
like
hear you.
you're playing the character like you're Vayne when you should be playing it like you're Caitlyn. So I would say the biggest takeaways from this game are one, um, how do I trade in lane? And then the things we talked about. What were some of the things we talked about that influence when we want to trade or how we want to trade? What was something we talked about? Name one thing.
Um, Making our minions die at a different time. Their minions die.
Yes, that was good. I'm just gonna say minion HP because maybe in another game it's not exactly the same example, but like, how are we playing around when they last hit? Oh, last hits. Okay. Do you remember another thing we talked about?
Um,
A resource, a new resource
yeah,
to
cooldowns,
consider.
cooldowns.
Yes, CDs. Supports, that's all that matters, so they think about it more. But that's huge. Because if Thresh ever whiffs hook, then you just walk up.
Yep.
That's a big one too. That's why in pro play, a lot of times you won't see them throw a hook at all. Because they'll get punished so insanely hard for missing it. The risk reward is not there. Um, what's another factor for trades? Let's think about our champ versus her champ.
Uh,
Why do we want to trade so much?
Her range. I can punish her without
Yes.
her being able to hit back. And if she does hit back, then I just get to hit her more.
Uh-huh. So what I want you to do is when you're playing your next games, I want you to, as you're loading in, and if you're not sure, you can consult with your bot lane partner because you are a duo. Um, I want you to consider these three things when you're loading into the game, and that should influence how you play your trades. Also, something we didn't talk about, but is important, is jungle proximity
Okay.
because it didn't happen this game, but there are FF, whatever, you saw it. There are things that matter a lot where, like, if your jungler is going to be bought, it's worth it. Like, let's say you take a trade and you lose all this HP and she loses only this much. It's still good because your jungler is going to be there and you're making a play around that. So jungle presence also can matter, but that's more like gameplay or like that's like a 5v5 game plan orientation. So don't worry about that.
Yeah.
So we talked about, I'll just shorten it to trading again. Trading and then positioning. And let's talk about when were we most commonly out of position? Let's try to think of some times.
Whenever just stupid fucking times. Like, why the hell am I all the way past a dead tier one and not like there's nothing there? My teammates aren't there or anything. Like, I should not be there.
Yep.
I,
So moving too far to farm. And then I would say another thing is I'm gonna say going to the goal. Because a lot of times, like you did a good job. Do you remember I said, oh, I like that you took Gromp there?
yeah,
I would have liked to see that more. Not even necessarily Gromp, but like I did not see you once path top lane ever,
yeah,
except for here. This was the time I saw it. So like sometimes where there's a big wave with Shen, that's your wave now. It's not his lane. It's now not Shen's lane. It's just top lane. Other people can go there. Or like here, right? Like right here, we get this pick. Okay, we're done. Okay, we know monster uses cooldowns. This guy's probably going to get out. There's way better things for us to be doing
Yep.
than chasing wildlands because maybe we get this kill, maybe, but they have like, nah. I just don't see it. I just don't see it because that's not our comp strength. Or here's the thing: if we get it, it's not going to be because of you. It is not on you if this guy dies. It is on the teammates with CC and Chase. You don't have any of that. You are just a fucking damage stick. And you do less damage the less gold you have.
And there's a fuck ton being wasted in or on our
Yeah,
turrets right now.
yeah, mid. I mean, you can push. Here's the thing: you can push mid, and then since they have supers, and you go bot, you get that too. You eat it all up. So yeah, I would say those were the biggest ones. Positioning for farm, and then also that leads into as well trade. I would say those are the two biggest takeaways from this game. So if we ever go over a different game, um, which we probably will in the future at some point, I would say those are the biggest ones. Um, Also, I think what could be helpful to help you with that is because I think like when because I teach violin and viola, so when I have like students for music, I give them stuff that can they can like work on. Uh, I think something that could be good for a follow up is you and I play games together bot for like a coaching session. We wouldn't go over a VOD, but we would load up. It could be a fucking normal for all I care. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And we would do that where it's like, um, I would just be like, okay, it's time to walk up. And honestly, I would probably force you to trade pretty hard if I see it, and you'll probably die and it'll feel uncomfortable. But you and I would play, and I would play support and you'd play AD, and then we could practice that concept where it's like looking for those kinds of trades. So I think that would be a good follow up session. Maybe like uh probably after the holidays. It's
Sounds good.
probably a good idea. So yeah. Do you have any questions or things that you'd like me to clarify that we went over, like re-look at, or like something I said didn't really make sense before I go?
I'm just looking over my notes.
Yeah, because essentially the goal here is again every time we work as a team, it's different. But when we work one on one, there's probably nothing I'm going to tell you that like in your next game you're going to play like a god. But really what it is it's just
I
like
don't know, man. Scrambles
I
played like a fucking god last night. I'm just
he
saying.
did play pretty well. Jungle I think has the most immediate response
I agree.
to like to coaching. Also, I don't think I mean, I know he's not a jungler, so if he hears anything about the role, it's like instantly like oh shit. Um, but it's more like I have already gone through these sorts of situations and this is how I figured out how to solve them. So it's like I'm handing you like the keys to the car,
Yeah.
but it's not going to drive itself. So like you're going to have to start trying to implement that into your games and it'll feel like uncomfortable and you'll make the wrong choices, but then you'll realize like, oh shit, like hey, I did what Vaughn said, why didn't it work? And then maybe it's like, oh shit, in this lane maybe I couldn't have traded because Lulu gets outranged by Karma and then Karma would just beat us up. So anyway. Yeah, anyway, sorry. I anything you wanted me to go over again or clarify because
No,
I think we'll just be done for now.
yeah, I think we're good. I mean, the biggest things that I mean, you said it. The trading and positioning are the biggest things, and then play up is don't be afraid. So, uh, that's a big thing that differs between Masuro and I. So I need to play a little bit more on his play style, which is fine. I can do it. Just need to, grow a pair.
Yeah, yeah. And just be
So,
confident. It's like my character shits on theirs, so yeah, let me just do that.
yeah,
Fair enough. And
for
then
sure.
if you fuck up and die, then it's stuff we can like go over. Because at this point, the first session I usually have people like right now, I'm teaching Lane how to he's role swapping to support. And the first game we went over was like not saying that this one was, it was almost useless
Yeah.
because there was no choices being made. So it was me just being like, "Hey, you need to do this," instead
Mhm.
of me being like, "Oh, hey, here's how you do this better." So in this game we just went over, a lot of times I'm like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And you're like, "I have no idea." So we don't have that yet. And then later on as you start to like make these active choices, then you can get more out of it where it's like, "Well, I thought the lane went like this and I tried it and why didn't it work?" and then it's a lot different because then we're not building a system, we're adjusting it. Make
Yeah,
sense?
we just put a baseline. I got you.
Yeah, exactly. And we're just gonna go up from there, and we got plenty of time.
Yeah, man.
So
Hey,
I'm not worried about it.
do you have a Cash App, Venmo, anything?
You do not have to pay me for
Uh,
this
I I
because stop. I've already been paid for it.
okay.
Because Lane pays me to coach Rodham, but if he foots the bill for all of these, it's going to balloon out of control. He and I talked about it in our last meeting.
Yeah,
So hold that thought because if we want to keep doing this, it might be something where like after the first one or two, then if you feel like it's worth it, you can continue that on your own with me more in a one-on-one.
yeah,
Um, so I'm very flattered that you like brought that up, and that makes me feel like I'm doing like a good enough job that you feel like it's worth it. Let me make sure that Lane and I have that figured out before we get to that step
perfectly
because
fine.
he does pay me for like the coaching stuff, but at a certain point for the individual things, we're gonna have to digress from that. So
Yeah.
we'll revisit that.
All right.
All right, awesome. I'm gonna let you go because I need a break. Um,
You've been
but
coaching for a while.
yeah, yeah. So and I've got some plat trial VODs to watch, but thanks